Hi, John Veely, CEO of Online Visas, back here again today to talk about immigration and the coronavirus. This is episode 4. We've been trying to do these every day as we are really getting into the rough time of this. So we'll dig right in, kind of on the scoreboard, horrible scoreboard. Globally, 495,000 people have contracted this disease, and we've had over 22,000 deaths. Not a good thing. China's at 81,000 cases, Italy 74,000 cases, and the United States just bested 70,000. The United States is on its way to be the epicenter of the coronavirus in the world. Not an accomplishment any of us here want to obtain, but that's where we are, folks. This is day one for my firm to be sheltering in place. We're on lockdown. I'm the only person here in our office, a little lonely. We are an essential company, so that's why I'm here, but out of the abundance of caution and because it's the right thing to do, we have our team working from home. Now, if you're a client of ours, we're still here for you. We have a special way of communicating. If you dial into our regular phone number, 405-310-4333, it'll then be patched on to Elizabeth, and then we have people behind her and others that will be able to accept that, and then we're passing that through our Microsoft Teams application. That's a new way we've been getting together. With Microsoft Teams, we've been able to have our daily scrum. That's typically a stand-up meeting where we all talk about why we're happy. We have to find some ways on that today. What our biggest accomplishment was yesterday and what our biggest will be today. That's kind of where we are. Look, coronavirus is going on. 1/3 of the world's population is under some kind of coronavirus movement restriction. Can you imagine? This disease has now hit everybody in every single continent except for Antarctica, and I guess that'll be coming there soon for the few people that are there, if they are still there. Maybe they're hiding out. But it's also a significant day because looks like the CARE Act was passed by the Senate. The CARE Act is going to be this stimulus bill that's going to really designed to help companies stay open, to flood the American marketplace with some money so that we can survive this period of time. It is not a stopgap, but it does a lot of things. Today, it'll be going over to the House, who is supposed to vote on it tomorrow, Friday, and hopefully we'll get a bill to the president and he'll be able to sign that soon. We can get there. So what does that mean? So let me put my glasses on. I made a few notes on this. I went to a webinar today, really fantastic webinar, and I can send some information to you guys if you need some more on it. But basically, this is a Payroll Protection Act in a lot of ways. So for companies that have less than 500 employees per location, including some sole proprietors, you're going to be able to utilize an SBA loan for really kind of, it's designed from February 15th to June 30th. That's really what it's going to be. So what they're going to do is they're going to allocate this money through banks. Right, so if you're going to the SBA disaster loan page, which a lot of you may have been doing in the last couple of days, it was down and it probably is still down. Adam from Costa Rica has just tuned in. Hi, Adam. It's good to talk to you this morning. Adam, married to his Costa Rican wife with his American children, is going to try to move back up the United States. Although Costa Rica sounds like a pretty good place to be right now, doesn't it? Hey, Adam, shout out to you. Adam from Jinx America, good man. So anyway, back to the CARE Act. 500 employees per location, sole proprietors are included, and that is going to be so what they're going to do is they're going to come up, and nobody has any of this money yet, by the way, right? So the Senate has just passed their version of the bill. The House then votes on it. They can change things. It can go back, and then it goes to the president. So, but everybody seems to be on board. It passed 96-0 yesterday. So it's a bipartisan thing. Not perfect. There are a lot of complaints in all of it, but there's some good things in it. I think there were some concerns about whether the cronyism that would go on if Steve Mnuchin and Treasury Treasury got to determine, secretly who was going to get the money. Well, that's gone. The president and other politicians have been excluded from using it, so a lot of people feel more comfortable about that, right? There is some pork in there. Some people don't like that, but some of that's there to protect companies that, government entities that need to be okay also, right? So take a look at it. You'll get a chance if you want to dig into it. It's called the CARE Act. What it's going to do to you if you're a member of a company that has less than 500 employees is to be able to get some payroll protection. What that means is they're going to look at your total monthly payroll for 2019 and average it. And then there's going to be some other benefits or some other expenses as well. And then they're going to allocate some money for what would be like a 4-month period. And then they're going to be able to forgive the payroll. So what they want us is to keep our people employed. And I tell you, that's the number one thing for me. Keep our folks employed for a number of reasons. The best is that they'll get their paychecks. They'll be able to live their lives and not have to stand in unemployment lines and things like that. It's also going to be used to rehire people. Now, a couple of things to think about that is if you rehire them today, this money's not going to come through for a little bit. Again, it's going to take the banks a few weeks to figure this out. Banks are going to be allocating this money. The money is going to go from the government through the SBA to banks. Banks are going to have to create application forms, and you're going to have to apply to that, right? So, that again, it's going to be small businesses that's under 500 employees apiece. Nonprofits are going to be part of that also, so that's really cool. What else we got? I see David Kelso, my good friends on there, Bill Richards, John Spears, Stafford Turner, Patricia St. Peter. Thanks for all tuning in, guys. Talking about the coronavirus. God, this is horrible. The coronavirus and immigration. Sorry, my phone keeps knocking me down. Coronavirus and immigration and what we can do. Right now we're talking about the loan and what it is, the CARE Act, and how that's going to help small businesses. We're going to have more information on this on onlinevisas.com. Go check it out. We have a whole coronavirus section. We're starting to put up articles and these videos there. Go look at onlinevisas.com. Click on it. It's in red at there. Now, with the loan forgiveness, so if you borrow the money from the SBA through these banks, they will forgive your payroll with some exceptions. If you lay people off or fire them, they're not going to do that. There's a lot of little questions that we don't know the answers to yet. But if they don't forgive it, then they're going to amortize that loan over 10 years at no higher than 4%. Some other cool things. There will be no borrower fees. No borrower fees. Sorry about stumbling over there. There'll be no credit requirements. My camera's just killing me today, folks. Sorry. Let's see what we got here. Turn this thing around. All right. We are having some technical difficulties here. What do we got here? I'm going the wrong way. So let me see if I can fix that. There we go. Technical difficulties here all by myself. Everybody else is sheltering in place. We're changing it up. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so no borrower fees. They're not going to look at your credit. Your company is not going to be based on its profits. So if you're not a profitable company, seems like that's going to be okay. And again, the loan forgiveness, 4%, that sort of thing. Some other notes here. You can bring back employees. There's going to be another program that they don't have a lot of guts around right now. It's called the EIDL for grants and loans, also an SBA related things. Now, again, if you were just tuning in now, is that the SBA's site was down a little while ago, last time I checked, and that's because they're revamping everything, right? So if you had started this process a little while ago to get an SBA loan because you were thinking about this. Now, a lot of you may have, right? You may have restaurants that were shut down, hotels that were shut down. I think all of Las Vegas is shut down. You may have started that. What the advice I heard, and again, I'm not a financial guy. I'm an immigration attorney. I'm going to relate this back to immigration, I promise you, but this is related. And the fact that a lot of our clients are hiring people, and this is totally relevant to them, is that if you were starting that process and they were saying you need a personal statement from the owner, those sorts of things, you're not going to need that anymore, right? So I'd say just, chill on all of that. Let SBA get their stuff together. It's going to go out to the banks. You're going to talk to your banker. I've already called my banker. He's like, I know less than you do right now. So they're all trying to get up to speed. Be patient with them. It's going to be a mess for a couple of weeks, and then hopefully that'll be going. So you might start, if you're starving, you might look at lines of credit. That's what we're going to do. Again, our number one criteria is keeping our employees employed so we can continue to work and help our clients. We are an essential company as a law firm or a legal services provider, and we're going to still do this stuff. We know a lot of you guys may not be. You're sitting in your houses. You're trying to figure out what's doing. Hell, you're watching me right now, so you must have... that's an interesting thing. No Joe Exotic here, unfortunately. So there is a difference between the CARE Act and the disaster loans. So don't be confused and apply for the wrong one. If you take one thing from SBA, you can't do the other. So be careful on that. Get information and that sort of stuff. Let me say there's a name of a company again that I thought was really impressive, and what are they? They're called Multifunding, multifunding.com. I did a webinar with them, or watched a webinar, I should say, with them this morning, multifunding.com. There's a guy named Ami. He's brilliant, and they're going to do these every day at 12 noon Eastern. So check that out if you want to know more about what I'm talking about right now from a true expert. I'm telling you because as an immigration attorney and as a small business owner, that's what we're going to look at. You can use this also for contractors, it appears. So again, we'll get more details than that. And again, I'm talking about the loan that will stem from the CARE Act. It has passed the Senate 96-0. It's going to the House next, and we'll see what they do. Then it goes over to the president. The president, as you know, if you've been watching civics, gets an A or an up or down. He's either going to veto it or pass it. I think everybody's expecting this to go through without an issue. There will also be some other funds from states and cities. They're offering loan programs. If you're sitting at home, start Googling. Use your internet. Try to find these things out and go from there. Looks like we got all sorts of people tuning in today. It's really great. John Spear, Upender Reddy, good man in India, in Hyderabad. Hyderabad and Upender, I guess if you're over there on lockdown. Our good friend Glenn Yates, Colt Builders, doing some great business. Glenn's construction company is an essential entity, and they're building homes for people right now. We're doing some immigration for Glenn. Kathy Sessler, our good friend at Santa Cruz Cycles, great bicycling company that sponsors a lot of world-class athletes. And, of course, my good friend Michelle Kemper from Hawaii, and JT Thatcher, the OU football star, one of the best kick and punt returners we've ever seen. Good to see he's on there. Great people are tuning in today. Thanks so much, folks. I really appreciate you seeing us. Another thing, what wasn't in the stimulus bill, right? So what I always look for is what's helping immigrants. How can non-immigrants, people from foreign countries, what are they doing? So a lot of pressure has come lately from the American Medical Association to the State Department. If you're following along, Mike Pompeo is our current Secretary of State, and the CEO, Madeira, AMA CEO Madeira wrote an article that if visa services at the consulates don't restart soon, it could really exacerbate the stress on the U.S. healthcare system. What that's referring to is USCIS and the State Department have really closed all of their local offices recently, and that makes all the sense in the world, right? But the State Department, that's the consulates, that's overseas, that's for once you get your visa approved and sometimes adjudicated directly, you have to go to a consulate to get that visa, and they're closed right now. So what that means is that right now there are 4,300 medical graduates who have been placed or matched with residency programs. And the AMA is writing that some of these folks, or most of them, or maybe even all of those 4,300, are out of the country right now and can't get back in. They can't have their visas adjudicated. There's no premium processing right now. So, I think the pressure's on the government to look at these issues too, especially when it comes to medicine. there's a number of visas that doctors can do. O1 for the extraordinary ability doctors, the J1 for exchange programs, and coming over to be parts of learning programs where they might be able to be put to work. The H1B. The H1B's registration period is ended. That was not extended at all, and we'll start filing H1Bs. We're going to talk a lot more about that tomorrow in this really interesting case, IT Serve Alliance versus Francis Cisna, that has maybe opened up the ability to get H1Bs more easily again in the tech sector. But the H1B cap, we will start getting those caps. Base cases are supposed to be told to us. Who passed the lottery for the H1B should be told to us by March 31st, at least the first batch of them. And then we'll have 90 days to apply for those visas. For those that are doctors that got through that cap, that's fantastic. Now, universities are exempt for that. So university hospitals are everywhere. And one of the things that I've been exploring is whether or not university hospitals can bring over doctors and subcontract them if they're providing those services to some of the other areas that are off-site. That would be a nice fit, a nice fix. Or just allocating more H-1B visas. This government recently allocated, really recently, allocated more H-2B visas, right? So they can do that. So maybe the cap of 65,000 and with the additional 20,000 for graduates of U.S. master's degrees or higher should be allocated to deal with this, especially in the medical industry or any of the essential care areas. Right now, with the way we're tracking, we looked at these numbers. We have 9 cities in the United States with over 1,500 people sick. 9 cities. That is that's getting to China areas. And again, China has 81,000 cases. We're over 70, and we just got ours. And New York has said that they will not reach their peak for 2 to 3 weeks. We've seen some exceptional leadership out of Governor Cuomo in New York. I really appreciate him because he is he's telling us what it is, that it's real, it's hard, and those sort of things, and what they need. He's not a big fan of this bill, by the way, folks. He's already weighed in. It's not enough. It's not enough to deal with this. It's a good start, but I think what we're going to see is we'll see Congress is going to have to reconvene 90 days, if not sooner, to deal with this. But that's okay, right? They got to get something out. Not here to complain politically about anybody. I'm really just want to see this thing get solved. But what we're going to see is American citizens are going to get $1,200. Married folks are going to get $25, I believe, and then $500 per kids. There was some discussion about having to pay your taxes for 2019. I don't think that's the case anymore. That to me seemed very difficult. How is IRS going to even be able to do it right now? They're working from home as well, I assume. But there should be something on that that will be coming out in this bill as well. They've also allocated more money for unemployment insurance, so that's important for those who need to do that. And what I really liked about this bill is the ability to rehire people you had already fired or laid off or furloughed, right? That's going to be really great, and especially in immigration context, right? So in the immigration context, if you're on a non-immigrant visa, and again, those are the alphabet soup, the H-1B, the H-2B, the O-1, the P-1, L-1, E-2, E-1, all these different visas have very specific requirements that are typically you have to work for a specific employer, and it would you also have to work at a specific location and do specific duties, right? So if you're furloughed at home, some of those things are you're not meeting those requirements anymore. Now if you've watched any of these shows before, we think that immigration is going to be okay on that, right? So we've seen that that they're going to look at these things on a case-by-case basis. Again, we've told employers it's better to furlough somebody or put them on a leave of absence, paid over not paid, but if they have to be unpaid, and you need to write a letter that it's based on the COVID-19 pandemic, the coronavirus. I don't think they'll be too angry if you get one or the other on that, but it needs to be papered up, dated, stated for those specific reasons. People who just get fired because they're stealing from the till, they're not going to be covered by those things, right? Other things can happen. So take a look at that, and make sure that you're thinking about your employees and your foreign nationals. Another thing we talked about a few days ago, but I'll reiterate today, is the I-9. The I-9 is the document that when you're hired, and a lot of companies have to hire right now, right? The medical profession has to hire right now. The truckers have to hire. Pizza Hut is trying to hire all the people it can right now because people are eating a lot more pizza and being delivered to their homes. So when they hire, the I-9 is a document that your HR people typically, or the owner of a smaller company, has you fill out, and then they look at some documents. Now those documents are can be the green card, it can be the H-1B visa if that's what they have, but for American citizens it's a driver's license, typically a social security card, those sort of things. Now a company can either keep those things or not keep those things, and they can't ask too many questions. If you don't know about the I-9 and you need to, please PM me. We can talk about it more. But one of the issues, it has to be seen in person. And a lot of folks, the HR directors are in one location and they're in another one, and they don't want people all coming over. So what do we do? Well, a couple of things are there that somebody else can be authorized by the company to view these things, to view these documents. Now, they need to be trained up a little bit. A nice document that tells them how to do it would make sense. If you are in that position, you want some help developing a document like that, we can, and some strategies on it. But you can authorize people to do that. Now, if you're an essential company, you have people in there, that's easy. It's this person over here, go there, show them the deal. If it's not, it can even be a person that's related to the potential employee. So there's some stuff there. Some of it's a little bit gray. Some of it's best efforts. And again, we think most agencies are going to be okay on best efforts, but you need to know what best efforts to use. Okay, so if you need more I-9 advice, give us a call. You go to online visas. There's an ability to schedule a strategy session there. You can do that. You can call us, 405-310-4333. Email me at john@VeelyLaw.com. That's V as in Victor, ELIELAW.com. I'm John Veely. We're talking about immigration and the coronavirus. Got a lot of people that have been checking in. Sakuro Smith, Maureen Garton, Morgan Casso, our right hand here, checking it out. Dr. Charles Wethner, my dentist. Anna Klueva, she's a rock star, 01 extraordinary ability in the press industry, and one of the first people to ever initiate a social media curriculum for a university, and working with Anna's class right now. They're helping us with some social media. They'll be doing some things with these posts. It's great to see her. We got another football star, Chris Messner of OU, in there, Francesca Gianni. Simon Fathers, that guy's a rock star. Good to see Simon out there, out of the Bay Area, strength and conditioning coach, one of the best. And Liga Dijkmeyer, she was an extraordinary ability EB1 tennis pro, 17 titles under her belt and still going strong. And see some old friends like Greg Ward out there too. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. We're talking about the coronavirus and immigration and the coronavirus. And good stuff. Our team's is all out in the field right now. They're in their homes. We had a great session this morning using Microsoft Teams. Everybody's faces there, talking back and forth, trying to make it work. There's some good things about this. If you can become very efficient in what you do, you're going to be a better company. It's great that the U.S. government is going to be allocating some money to cover some payroll. I think that's our job as employers, to keep people employed. If you're hiring foreign nationals, be extra sensitive to them, getting rid of them and having them worry about how they're going to get back home. Some of their countries are shut down. Countries completely shut down. You can't get back in. Oh, I see Abhilash Bairedi out of Austin from the IT Serve Alliance. Abby has a great tech company and is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Big into watching what's happening on the internet. Abby, we're going to be talking about the IT Serve Alliance versus Francis Cisna tomorrow. We're going to dig into that one, and the attorney on that IT Serve's hired, John Wasden, is going to be giving a webinar with the U.S. Indian Business Council on April 6th, I believe. You might check that. USIBC is a great organization. They and IT Serve really handle a lot of the tech world world that keeps everything we're doing. Like everything that we're doing right now is tech-based. It'd be unbelievable how much the basis of that world are from our friends from India that are coming over and doing those jobs and helping us stay at the top of the tech sector in the world. We really need them. India's on lockdown right now itself. It's not as bad as we are right now, but with 1 billion people, you got to understand how scary that must be for them and what they're doing. Speaking of 1 billion people, China, these guys are starting to see it turn down, which is really nice. And one of the things that I've thought about and heard a little bit about lately is, what if you've had the coronavirus? Can you get it again? And I think some have, but I believe that those that have had it are building up antibodies to it so that they don't get it again. One of the problems with this disease, I'm not a doctor, by the way. I'm not trying to give any medical advice here whatsoever. I'm not going to tell you to take any medicine or anything like that. But I'm just, talking about what I've heard. We all want to talk about this right now. Is that why they call it the novel coronavirus is because unlike the flu, which is a human disease or a human virus that's passed between humans, this started out as an animal disease that passed to a human, and then within a couple weeks it mutated, and then it got passed from person to person. So the reason people are getting so sick is that we don't have natural immunity to it because it wasn't a human disease, right? So people that have recovered from it, and there are literally hundreds of thousands who have, right? And many of them in China are now past that. So I'm an immigration attorney, so I'm going to tell you from my interest, we should be able to give visas to people from China that have already gotten through this process, the doctors, the nurses, the professionals, as their virus problem starts to slow down, that we really need those people to come over and help us. We're going to get our medical profession really taxed. Our doctors, our nurses, God bless them. They are walking into disease-ridden hospitals every day with no cure, right? Imagine how scary that is. I mean, it makes you hearken back to all the stories we heard about World War I, where you just knew going into those battles that chances of living were very, very slim. Now, it's not that bad, right? No one's going to shoot them, but this disease is a killer. Right, it's killing people at such a horrific rate, and it's really raising up. And we're getting so many mixed signals by people that want it to be over. We all want it to be over, but we have to be safe, and that's why, again, we've closed our business. Let our people go home. We haven't closed our business. Didn't say that. We let our people go home and work from home, so they're in smaller numbers, so they don't spread it. Right, that's the smart thing to do. But we're still open. We're still helping our clients. We're trying to get them their visas. Visas are multi-month processes anyway. It's a good time to start it if you have any of those issues. Another thing I want to put out to those who have visas, you can renew your visa if it expires in 6 months, right? You can't ask for an extension more than 6 months. So if you're 6, 7, 8, 9 months out, may not be a bad time to think about extending that visa now. I see Chad London, great rugby player there, is watching. Vicky Jansing, a good business person from here in Norman, Oklahoma, and of course Diego Andres Gomez Leon. Good to see all of you guys tuning in. We're talking about immigration and coronavirus. We've waved off, I guess, moved into other things like the loan. There's some information on that. We'll be posting this thing on our YouTube channel. If you go there, please like and share and subscribe. We're here to help. We're going to try to do this stuff regularly. We're talking about how this virus is impacting us around immigration and our everyday lives. Really appreciate hearing from all of you, and thanks for tuning in. I think I'll call it a day for today. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't think I'll do this over the weekends, but we're going to keep this information happening, keep coming to you. If you have any questions, please send them our way. I will post this onto my Facebook page. We'll put it onto the Online Visas Facebook page, and then again, YouTube, and through all our other social media, Twitter, and LinkedIn, and then of course on our website, onlinevisas.com. So again, onlinevisas.com, check in with us if you need us, if you're a client, if you're worried what this means. If you're not, you just want to know what this is going to impact your international employees whether they can get unemployment, which we believe they can, right? We believe they will not be a public charge if it's COVID-19 based. That is what USCIS is saying, but on a case-by-case basis, so paper it up. If you are a foreign national and you and that does not mean a green card holder. If you're a green card holder, you're fine. But if you're a non-immigrant person and you have to get unemployment insurance, then make sure that unemployment insurance, whoever laid you off says it's because of the COVID-19. You're going to have to prove that later. Right now, we're in a horrible time. We'll get past this, but we'll be less forgiving. I promise you. Our government is going to ask you to prove this stuff up. So prove it that the reason you took unemployment was because of COVID-19. Maybe your company was shut down. Maybe you were furloughed, maybe you were laid off. Understand the rules, but there's a thing called public charge, which can mean you don't get a visa, but that public charge can be exempted if you're receiving state or federal funds because of COVID-19. On that, I'm John Veely, CEO of Online Visas. It was great. I see James Smith, one of my old friends, is there. And, of course, Aaron Tweeter Wilkinson. Great to hear from all you guys. We'll be back tomorrow. Take care, everybody. Be safe and be healthy. Take care.